Hello and welcome to the Winter 2020 section of Philosophy 6 Online at Pierce College. My name is Mia Wood. I'm a philosophy professor at Pierce and I'm looking forward to working with you. In this video, I'm going to show you around Canvas, which is the platform we use at Pierce College. If you're not already familiar with it, I'll direct you to some tools that should be helpful to you in getting started. If you're already familiar with it, then I hope what you see looks familiar to you. In other words, I hope that the layout that I offer you is pretty intuitive. And of course, I hope it's intuitive even if you haven't used Canvas before. Anyway, I wanted to take a moment before I show you around the course and tell you a bit about what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it, why we're going to do it, to remind you that because this is an online course and because we're compressing 15 weeks into 5, you've got to make sure that you're organized. You're not, however, alone. Not only do we have a course embedded tutor, I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, but also I'm available to you. I don't have regular office hours during the winter term. However, I'm around. So if you want to chat, let me know, and we will use Canvas's Confer Zoom tool. It's actually the Zoom tool embedded in Canvas. It's like FaceTime or Skype if you're not already familiar with it. It's really easy to use, and I use it regularly to meet with class members, make sure that you take advantage of it so that if you're having any trouble at all or you think you might have some trouble, that you and I can get together and work on whatever is bugging you. I want you to be successful in this course, so let me know what I can do to help you to that end. All right, let's go ahead and take a look around, and then let's get started. Okay, so if you're new to Pierce or you're new to Canvas, there are a couple of ways that you can get started. One way is to go to the Pierce College homepage. You can click on the students link and then click on Canvas login. Alternatively, you can click on the Pierce Online link and then log in from there. In addition, on the Pierce Online homepage, you will see a number of resources that will help you get started on Canvas. Okay, so let's go ahead and sign in and then take a look around. So I've logged in and I've landed on my dashboard. Your dashboard will look slightly different if you're taking more than one course this winter, but you will see this button when you log in. So click on it. And if you've taken courses at Pierce before, some of what you'll see will look very familiar to you because it's standard for any Pierce course. The buttons on the far left are all the same. And then what begins to be customized is the next set of links over. So I try to keep things as visually uncluttered as possible. So we've got our home page, that's where we are now. We've got our syllabus, announcements, assignments. Our assignments include reading quizzes, discussion forums, and exams. Then our grades link, people in the class, the Confer Zoom button, which is what you would click on to meet with me via the Zoom application. Alternatively, if I send you a link, you would click on it and that would bring you to the relevant website so that you and I can have a video conference. Our library link, and then Office 365, which is great for you to have. It allows you to use the Microsoft Office suite. You don't have to buy the programs, they're available to you because you are a member of the Pierce College community. And you can also save your work on the cloud. And then lastly, a link for Name Coach. If you want to make sure that I'm thinking about your name the right way and we don't actually speak with each other, then use Name Coach so that I pronounce your name correctly. All right, so let's focus most of our attention now on this middle section, which involves a number of modules. So you're watching this video either because you came to the to the Canvas course page and you clicked on the link for watch this video, or you clicked on the link that I sent via email. In any event, we've got our Start Here button that will get you going. It's really important that you watch this video so that you have a basic idea of the course logistics. It's like what I'm doing right now is effectively what would happen if you and I were meeting, face to face on campus. I would tell you a bit about the course, how we're going to work, what's involved in the course, and so forth. Then next, we have a module for our textbook, workbooks, and exercise keys. So you don't have to buy a textbook. You're going to click here. You'll be able to access the textbook by an alternative means, but for right now, this module is a nice go-to for you. Click on the textbook link, and you can either download the book chapter by chapter, or you can read a chapter in an open window, in the existing window. Right? So there's no textbook to buy. If we move on to the next page, that involves the workbook for our textbook. So because this course is a skills-based course, it's really important for you to do as much practice as possible. So I offer you a number of exercises. They correlate to sections and subsections in the text. And then if you want to check your work, or if you want to look at the keys while you're working to see how things are going, or you learn by looking at answers, you can open up or download the exercise keys and discussions. So I hope that you'll find these really useful to you as you go forward. Again, practice is really, really key in this course. I recognize, however, that there's probably more practice to do than there is time to do it in the 5 weeks that we have together, but do as much as you can. Practice as much as you can before you undertake any assessment. Speaking of assessments, the next module down involves retests. I'll say more about that in a little bit. Then we have a number of links to resources at Pierce. Then we have 2 resources that I hope you'll take advantage of. One is a discussion forum where you ask our tutor, Jeremy Liebenthal, for help. He is fantastic. If you post a question or you talk about some confusion you have and so forth, he will address that during his tutoring hours. You can also post questions, problems, and confusions on our general discussion forum page, and I will look around. I'll check it with some regularity, but don't be shy about responding to a classmate. If you see a post about some item that you are comfortable talking about, or maybe you have the same confusion, whatever, go ahead and respond. That's what this discussion forum is there for. Just a quick note, because I forgot to mention it a moment ago, Jeremy will tell you when he is available. Then we have each of our 5 weeks laid out one after the other. There is a prerequisite for each week. So for example, before you start week 1, you're going to want to watch this video so that you have an idea of what we're doing, how we're doing it, when we're doing it, and so forth. But when we click on week 1, and as we move forward through each of the weeks, you'll see that items are laid out as follows. We have our topics, and then we have another way you can access the readings. You have a number of items to read. Then I offer a bunch of videos, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by the number of videos that I offer. Instead, I want you to think about taking advantage of what you think is going to work best for you. So while I have under the chapter 1 heading a number of basics videos, you may decide that instead of watching straight lectures, you want to focus on some practice or explainers or tutorials, right? So I try to offer a little bit of everything so that depending on your learning style, you will not feel like you're left out. You'll feel like your learning style is addressed. And then below the videos, and again, each week is laid out the same, there are items to complete. So remember, we're compressing 15 weeks into 5. So every week is going to involve multiple items to complete: reading quizzes, discussion forum posts, and in some cases also exams. So what you want to think about is completing your reading quizzes before you write an exam. What I do is offer you the relevant chapter and section that's covered in a given quiz so that you can have your textbook with you while you're writing your quiz. Quizzes are almost entirely true, false, multiple choice exercises. No, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The quizzes are entirely true, false, and multiple choice. Exams are can be true, false, multiple choice, and sometimes short answer. But you will write a fair amount as well. That's where our discussion forums come into play. Please make sure that before you write your original post, you are clear on what it is that I'm asking you to do. And when I offer you an example, a sample, please follow that sample as in terms of it being like a template for how you're going to structure your work. Okay, so like I said, every week lays out the same, and some weeks involve more items to complete than others. I also want to point out that starting with chapter 3, you're going to find that we move into some technical territory that can be, for some of us, really challenging. For some of us, it's fun and it's easy. For some of us, it is not fun and it's not easy. I don't know how you will take to the material. So if you find yourself feeling lost or kind of shutting down, that's the time when you want to contact me, and we can have a conversation about what's bugging you. It's very normal for you to find the material in chapter 3 challenging. So don't be shy about telling me if that's the case. All right, so here again, we've got items that we're going to read, watch, and complete. And again, on the videos, you're going to choose, I hope I give you enough information to help you choose what is going to help you most. So the beginning videos are always, the videos at the top of the list are always the sort of straight lecture videos. And then the optional items are items either from other sources or, as in the case here, I give you a number of explainers and tutorials and practice items. So again, before you complete an exam, make sure that you have completed all the relevant quizzes. So exam 1 covers the material from week number 1. And then as you see, again, we're continuing with chapter 3, and then we move on to chapter 4. So where where chapter 1 is a kind of an overview chapter, let me rephrase that. Chapter 1 focuses on some features of language and then provides you with some overview items in connection with the focus on language. Chapter 2 is really an overview of the study of argumentation, specifically the 2 modes of argumentation that that are our focus, that is experiential or inductive reasoning and non-experiential or deductive reasoning. Chapter 3 then takes a dive into deductive reasoning, and we focus on 2 systems of deduction. And then chapter 4 focuses on inductive reasoning and 2 patterns of reasoning. And then chapter 5 focuses on another way in which inductive reasoning proceeds, but proceeds poorly. So we're focusing there in that last chapter on fallacious or erroneous reasoning. So again, organize your time so that you can devote the requisite hours to mastering that material that's the most challenging, and then you can always offset that dedicated time when you reach material that feels a little bit easier for you to grasp. You'll notice also when we get to toward the end of our semester, that is, we're focusing on weeks 4 and 5. You want to think about, if you haven't done so already, working on quiz retests. Or I'm sorry, I said quiz retests. I meant to say exam retests. So if you struggled on an exam, you can look at what happened. You and I can chat if you want, and then you can revisit the material that you struggled with. Then you can retest the exam, and I will take the better of your two scores. So the idea here is that if you've had a bit of a struggle and you work a bit more on the material, that you should be more successful the second time around. And if you're willing to put that work in, I think you will likely be rewarded with a higher score. All right, so again, now we're on week number 5. Each week lays out the same way, right? You've got stuff to read, stuff to watch, stuff to complete. Now, let me come back to the home page and let's look at the to-do items. It's going to be the case that there are items that are due at the end of a certain week, but if you're running short on time and you're late getting to something, you have more time to submit the work. Now, I don't want to encourage you to take more time and sort of to use the fact that you have more time as a reason not to buckle down, but I also know that sometimes our schedules get upended. So let's say, you've completed 2 quizzes and you needed to complete a third quiz, and something came up and you couldn't complete it. Well, it'll stay open and you can complete it. So if you have questions about that, let me know. So this is how our course lays out, right? We have all of our class resources available to us on Canvas, and the content that we're covering is laid out week by week. And you can access the items that you are to complete within a given week, right? So if something is covered in week 2 and it's on the complete list, it's on the list of things to complete under week 2, you'll find the link to the given quiz or discussion or exam. And return to our home page and spend just 1 minute less, I hope, talking about why we're doing what we're doing. The reason why we won't spend much time on that is because we'll get to that in due course when we begin working together. But basically what we're doing when we're spending time studying reasoning processes is we're looking at, in a critical way, in a thoughtful way, in a methodical and systematic way, how we can how we do what we do every day and how we can do it better. So just as we naturally walk and breathe and do all sorts of things without really thinking anything about it, we engage in reasoning without thinking how well we do it, and if we can be stronger reasoners. And so when we do stop to think about it, it may be difficult at first, but if we're mindful about it, we improve the quality overall. Okay, last thing I want us to do is look at our syllabus. It should be the case that the Canvas site is laid out effectively according to what the syllabus tells us. But where you can find easy contact information is on the syllabus page. You can also find the course description as well as our assessments and how each assessment set counts for our total score. And then some important information about the winter calendar. Lastly, our week laid out, or our work laid out, week by week, which looks like it should, or it looks like it does, or it should look like it does on our main page where the weeks are laid out one by one. Forgive any weird noises you hear in the background. I have 2 puppies playing California sea lions, and they get very noisy. So you're probably going to hear stuff that's a little distracting, or at least I'm distracted enough to mention it. Lastly, at the bottom of the syllabus page, we get our course summary, which shows us all of the items that we'll be completing each of the weeks of our semester together. Okay, so if you have any questions, problems, confusions, let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm looking forward to getting started.